Okay, beginning and end of the video, we're going to show how these inserts work on the Ikea Kallax system, and because this is one of the relatively standard cube configuration. You get these with 4, 6, or 8 holes, and you can work with these inserts to have drawers and doors in them, and the inserts have colored back so that you can actually have this face either direction. That's pretty much where they work. Not super high security stuff in the rear, but from the front it looks really good, especially in comparison to this much more expensive cabinet, also from Ikea. So this is a Ikea Kallax cabinet. Now you can do these things vertical or horizontal. This one's set up in a horizontal configuration. Whew, thank God that's not a chip out of that. This one's been set up with the accessory wheels. It's so simple to put those on, it's almost not worth doing a video. This is interesting. This is the cabinet door insert. And so we're going to show how this goes together. But basically, pulled out of the box, you fold this whole thing, which is kind of interesting the way everything here folds. And we're going to build that into one of these cubby holes with a real cabinet door. Pretty interesting. So in putting the doors together on this thing, we've got a couple of issues. One, there's several different types of screws involved with this, and we don't want to use the wrong ones. For this type of stuff, we've got the pre-drilled holes. We want to use the blunt screws. And something I ran into with the bed earlier, every once in a while a kit will have these in 2 different lengths. You want to make sure that you're not using one that's too long for the hole, or else it'll blow through the other side. So don't substitute on this aspect of it. These are going to be used with the cubicle part here with the enclosure. And this isn't a high security thing, but it's decently strong. And it's good for keeping critters out of something, you know, like if you're building a little cabinet with snacks or something in there. But it's not high security stuff. So we put the hinges together using the blunt screws, and then I'll show you the rest of how this goes together. So the way this thing folds out, it folds a few different ways. You can see these pre-cut bevels. So the inside of this is going to be like this. Now when it was packed, the folding point was over here. When it gets set up, this ends up being straight. You see how this has a double thing? So this ends up being the configuration it goes in. These edges, which are going to hold the hinge or latch hinge bases, they get folded around backwards like this. And that gets folded around backward like that. That's going to reinforce that, and it's also going to serve as a guide holes for the pointy screws, which hold this whole thing into whichever point in the cubes you're going to be putting a cabinet door, and that keeps up appearances and function. But this is how the folding works. And you see this funny little double hinge. That had to do with the way they packed it in a small box. So when it folds, it goes like this, and you'll kind of see how the bevels go on that sort of thing when it goes in here. But basically, these 2 fronts need to end up in the same place and square, and then this is going to fold back, but it really won't hold itself back until we put it in one of the cubicles. All right, so here's a little bit what's going on here. Is all these little insert pieces, and this one here is the one of the drawers. Now, the drawers go together relatively conventionally as Ikea stuff would, although those 2 need to get changed. So what happens is the inserts also come with these little plastic spacers. You just set these up here, and they get set here in order to assist with this. This requires a setback. Now, the other thing you're going to be able to tell is that when a setback's properly done, the back of this looks relatively good too. Okay, so that's part of what's going on, because this thing's on wheels. It's going to be used as a part-time room divider. You got to use little plastic pieces of setback, and to get the setback proper, they want it done off the side, not the bottom or not these section. It has to be done off one of these, because you'll notice there's a little space difference here, and that's so that when the pointy screws go in to hold the insert, and then the doors go on. When the door is closed, it will, your spacing works. Now, I'll be tightening that up with a screw gun later, but that's basically how that's going to go. Now I'm going to tighten all this up with a screw gun, and you'll see how that turns out. Okay, so here's how they look done. We've gone over some detail on how these little insert kits work. This one's just basically a little cabinet cubicle, and these are the drawers. Now these come partially assembled. I haven't detailed the assembly on the drawers themselves because they're relatively standard to the way IKEA drawers go together. The inserts are tricky. Use this little included measuring tool for the setback on the inserts, and you may want to do fine adjustments depending on how much the rear would show, but it looks really good from the front, and from the rear it looks pretty decent too because they color it. It's just that when the inserts go in, you may want to put another back on there if you're actually looking for those to be secure, but it's not a locking cabinet anyway, and it looks pretty good from either end. This one's set up on wheels so that it could be moved around the office and used for different purposes. And I'm a real big fan of furniture with wheels on it, so you can change the configuration of rooms as you go, make more use of the existing space, and open up floor space when appropriate.